Okay, so this is just going to be a video that shows you how to use Cell Profiler and basically to put the data in the spreadsheet. So first thing you're going to want to do, probably, and I don't, you can like figure this out as you go as well. Um, I would add a file to your desktop. Um, and let's say we're going to go through sample A2. So that A2 would correspond to one slide and all of the pictures that I took from that slide. So let's call this, yeah, we'll just call this A2 for slide A2. Um, and then what you're going to want to do is basically when we open Cell Profiler, we want a file that has all of the images we're going to analyze inside it. So let's go to the Dropbox, Team 140.6, Serious Red Images, which is where you're going to see all of the images that I took at Beckman, and it's where you have access to all of them, and I'll dump them in there as I'm finishing them. But basically, you're going to, so let's, if we want to do A2, then we want to take everything that starts with A2, and so if I can make my highlighter work. So let's take all of these, and then I guess we can leave these in here. We'll say that we want to copy these 17 items, and we'll go into this desktop folder, and obviously you can delete all these once you're done because they take a bunch of space. But let's go into that folder we made, and we will paste these 17 items. So that's done. We've got all those in there, good and ready. So let's open Cell Profiler. Go to, say it's going to be in downloads. Okay, so I think we already installed this yesterday, but when it opens, it should look like this. And first thing you're going to want to do is load the pipeline that Heather created. So let's go to File, Load Pipeline, and then in here, I'm just going to go find it in my computer. Which I believe I sent this to you yesterday too, so you should have it. And then this will all pop up here, which is basically just all the steps that the program's going to go through. And then, so down here where it says input folder, I'm going to, we're going to make that A2 folder where we're going to take all the images from. So you'll notice that if you open this, it's not going to let you just take a file, it wants a folder. So we'll highlight A2, we'll choose that. So it's got the name of that file down here. And then for my output folder, you might want to create one of these as well. For myself, I just I have another folder on the desktop that I labeled Cell Profiler, and it's already got some of this stuff in here already. And actually, I'm in Finder now. I'll just get rid of these. Make it a little bit easier to see what's going on. Okay, so this is the spreadsheet that I have that I'll send to you, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, so that's just to show you what I'm thinking there. But yeah, so we're back on this. And like I said, I'm going to make that output folder Cell Profiler. And then you can just choose some sort of name for the file that it's going to spit out. Which is basically like all the data it's going to give you. So I might just call it A2 data. And then we're going to click Analyze Images. And like you can see, it's going to take a little bit of time down here. It's showing you, but just go ahead and wait for that to finish. So Okay, so we have finished the processing, so go ahead and click OK. Now I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to open up Finder. We're going to go take a look-see inside this cell profiler, and here you're going to see all these lovely TIFF images, or these .tiffs, which are basically inverse images of the JPEGs that we put in. So the way I would do this is I would go back to the desktop, in that folder, and I would take all of these and I would move them into Cell Profiler so that you can, whoa, hold on, get them all right up next to each other. And what you're going to want to do, just real quickly, open up the TIFF, and then open up the corresponding JPEG. Basically, you're just going to compare the two, make sure that everything where you see dark red is where you see the black. So obviously you've got this like big red line here corresponds to this. You can see these little like red swoosh kind of areas going through here. Obviously there's black corresponding to all this. So this looks perfectly good, and I don't think we've seen any yet that don't look good, but just for the sake of consistency and accuracy, we have to check all of them. So you're just going to run through all of those real fast, make sure there's no like huge discrepancy, like a giant black mark somewhere where there's no red. And then what we're going to do is take all of the information it gave us and we're going to put it into Excel. So in this cell profiler folder, remember we made it our output here. So in this cell profiler thing, you're going to see one of these is going to say A2 data image, and this is actually going to be the graph that has all of, or the spreadsheet that has all of the information we want in it. So click on that. It's going to open up Excel, and it's going to come up with this all these funky looking numbers. And so if you expand this, you can get the full title of the header. And so what we want is this column, which is the total area shown in the slide. Basically, that's, well, I'm not, okay. Basically, this is going to correspond to the column in our table that says total area. So you see it says total area right here, and then we're going to put that in our master spreadsheet, which I made right here. So I've already set up these numbers. For each sample you do, you're kind of need to set up you're going to need to set up the spreadsheet for it. So I already have like all the sample numbers down here and totals at the bottom and total area and area occupied and percent fibrotic. You're going to need to do that for each sample that you do. But so let's go back here. What we want is this total area column. So let's copy that. Go ahead and paste that into this total area column. And then we want this area occupied by collagen. And this is kind of intuitive. The area occupied by collagen should obviously be less than the total area, so if it looks like all the numbers in this column are bigger than the numbers are in this column, then like you can tell you did something wrong, because the area occupied by collagen can't be more than the total area. So we want the total of all these numbers because these are all like representative of one animal. So go ahead and auto sum these, and you probably are more familiar with Excel than I am, being an econ major, but use that young auto sum button. And then we want the percent fibrotic, so basically the percent that's occupied by collagen versus the total. So we can do a function to get that. Just go ahead and click equals, and then click that cell. We'll do divided by this cell multiplied by 100, and that gives you a percent fibrotic. So in this case, about 9%, 8.89. And that's basically, there you got your graph, you got your spreadsheet filled out. Like I said, you're going to need to do sort of create all of this on your own for the remaining samples. The way I would do it is I would take all the samples that have A in the title and I would put them on one sheet, and then I would go down here and I would make another sheet, and I would maybe title that B samples. We'll title this one A samples, and so on and so forth. And that is just a method for us to make it sort of easier and more accessible to read. So yeah, like obviously if we're going to do A3, you'd go in here and you'd do A3 1, A3 2, A3 3, and then I don't even know how many samples are in A3, but whatever it was, you drag down and you've got remaining what you need, and then you'd put total area, area occupied, total, and percent fibrotic down here. Pretty easy to do. Not too challenging. What is challenging is deleting all of these. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to save that document and close that up. Close this up. I'm going to save the changes I made. Okay, so once you have done that, do a real quick check in the Dropbox to make sure that the images are all still there. So go to Serious Red Images. All my A2 images are still in the Dropbox, so you don't want them taking up a ton of space on your computer. Go to Desktop. Right, so A2 we emptied. We can delete that folder. Where's my move to trash? Right there. Come on, there you go. And obviously you don't need to keep these TIFFs or these. The only thing you're going to need to keep, just don't delete the master spreadsheet, whatever you do. Everything else you're not going to need. So I would go here, move all of that to the trash, and then make sure you empty that up so you're not taking up a bunch of space on your computer. But yeah, you just need to do that for all the samples that I am going to be putting into the Dropbox, and then we should be good to go.